Thank you so much, Alina, for welcoming us today. Can you briefly introduce yourself, please?
Of course. My name is Alina Swirski and I'm the country manager for Too Good To Go here in Switzerland.
That is wonderful. Big question, what is food waste? How would you define food waste?
So food waste is everything, every food that is produced for human consumption that in a way gets lost from the agricultural side, so really from the field to the plate.
Yeah.
So there's different stages it goes through.
Yeah.
And it can be in a restaurant, it can be in agriculture because it is not, the standard norms are not anymore good enough for retail, so it can be different reasons, but it's basically the food that is produced for human consumption that is lost.
Okay, thank you. And obviously you've heard this number, it's on your website, 1/3 of the food we produce worldwide is either wasted or lost. How can you explain that? Why is our food system broken and what can we do to fix it? It's a big question, obviously, but ideally, what do we need to change in the way we approach food?
Yeah, it's, as you said yourself, it's a big number. It's quite shocking when you hear it for the first time. It's a massive problem, and what you said correctly, it's really the whole food system. It doesn't just start with food waste. It's the way we treat food and the way that food actually gets produced from the start, right? I mean, we make beef and we feed our cows grains and crops, and this is where it starts, right? So a lot of the land is used to produce food that is not even for humans, but for animals that then we eat.
Absolutely.
So it's really a bigger issue, so to speak, than just the food waste. But I think a massive problem here is really that we as human beings we have this abundance of food everywhere. Yeah. So there's restaurants everywhere, there's supermarkets, and it's cheap. Right, it's cheap and we can get it anywhere, at any time and anything we want. And so we kind of forget and we lose touch with it, where it comes from, how is it produced, who works every single day, how many hours to really produce this food. Should I eat strawberries in winter, yes or no? So different things like that I think it's a lot about education, awareness, and really finding our way back a bit to the origin and to really what food is and where it comes from, that could potentially change how we then also treat it.
Thank you so much. So if we look at Too Good To Go, if I understood well, you focus a lot on the third step of the food supply chain, which is consumption. What is the model of Too Good To Go? What is Too Good To Go exactly? What is your mission and what are you trying to do here?
Maybe I can tell you a bit of the background story.
Yeah, please.
The way Too Good To Go started was, you can imagine like 5 students, a bit like you and your friends. You're sitting in a restaurant, in a buffet restaurant, and you just paid full price for a delicious meal and you eat it, and next to you see the waiter who literally throws away all the buffet remainings in the bin. And you're like, okay, how can this be justified? Like, I'm literally eating this meal, it's amazing, and how can there be nothing? I mean, someone should pick this up at least, right?
Absolutely.
So this is actually how the idea came about. It was 5 students in Denmark, and our mission since then has been to inspire and empower really everyone to join this fight against food waste and to fight food waste really together. So this is our mission. We are represented in 5 different pillars, the way we name them. So our marketplace, the one you know the most, this is our app. But at the same time, we want to inspire and empower households, schools, politics, and as well businesses to do something against food waste. So it's really, we really want to take it from all the different angles.
So first, that's wonderful. That is really, really cool. And Too Good To Go, if I again understood well, connects restaurants, shops with customers in order to cut food losses and save food, basically. What kind of customers are we talking about here? Individuals, corporates, others? Yeah, who are your customers?
Yeah, so at the moment it's mostly a B2C marketplace, meaning, as you said correctly, we connect surplus food, so really anyone in the gastronomy industry who has food waste. As you can imagine, a lot of players, right? So it started with buffet restaurants, but it didn't stop there. We have a lot of bakeries, a lot of retailers, a lot of hotels. So really anyone who is working with food, and unfortunately at the end of the day or at the end of a shift has something to left, so to speak, it's not even food waste, if you want, can put this on our platforms or on the app, and then users can come and pick it up. Who's a typical user? As you can imagine, as we also want to inspire and empower everyone, it's really there's not like one typical user. It has to be a student, it's male. No, we don't have that. We have a slight tendency, 60-40, a bit more women. Not sure yet why. I mean, we have to be a bit more knowledgeable there, but it's really across the board. I mean, at one point we do events also, right? To bring awareness about this topic, and this is really where we see that all different types of people. It can really be from the mom, the family that want to teach something to their kids and that show them a cool concept, or the kids the other way around that are like, Mom, Dad, this is something cool, right? The student that maybe, of course, they also like the aspect that the fact that it's 1/3 of the price. So yes, we're not hiding that. That's great, but the food is still being saved, right? So it can be a student, it can be older generation who they always actually loved the fact of, for them it was normal to not save food. Anything that was on the table had to be eaten. So it can also be them. So the users really brought into Good to Go, and this is also what we like. Makes it a bit more difficult to target, of course, but it's a broad user base.
That makes sense. I think we all need to be responsible and aware, and you mentioned a really important point in my opinion, educating people on these issues. And I'm just curious about your perspective. What can we do to increase the level of awareness of people when it comes to food waste, food consumption, our approach and relationship to food? You're doing obviously a lot, but what other simple things can we do as a society to educate people a little bit more about this?
Yeah. As you say, this is a bit our mission, right? So we're trying everything, and it's not that it lands right away with here we put a message out and everyone hears about it, but it's really the little steps. It's what we did in Denmark and in France. Now we really approach the education system. So we have actually created a book, and not just randomly here we have a book and please use it, but with the educational sector. We're sitting together. At what age should people be learning about where these different vegetables grow, where these fruits are from, how the process is? So we have in those two countries, let's say where we're the most mature, also already with our marketplace, this is where we're doing things like that. So I think integrating this message in the different parts of society. So whether it's schools, businesses, they can educate their employees, right, on this topic.
Definitely,
we as Too Good To Go, anyway, it's our mission, so we do that every single day. And retailers as well, messages in their stores saying, hey, even if the carrot is not perfectly shaved, use it, right? So really this mindset change, if you see it everywhere, then you will just think about it, right? Definitely. It's like with any ad or anything that we stumble upon. Of course, there's a lot of information out there currently, but still, if in every part of society we manage to kind of place these messages, we'll get somewhere, but it takes time.
Totally agree with that. Tell me more about the app. How does it work? Basically, if I want to use Too Good To Go, how do I do it?
Did you use it on your phone?
I have the app, but yeah, I'd love to hear you and hear your thoughts about how to best use the app, at what frequency can we use it, how convenient is it, how easy is it for random people, for anyone basically to use.
So if you look at the app, you can if you have it in the right place, so where you are currently at, you can scroll what is at the moment currently available, who might have food waste. So you can see here, for example, this store has 2 bags left, and then you simply click on it and you can right away reserve it via the app. When you come to the store at the pickup time, you literally show the receipt that is on your phone, they swipe it and they give you your magic bag.
So it's very easy.
Simple. It's very simple. From the user side, it's really, you have your any payment method you want, Twin, credit, I mean really, you can use it simply here. And also for the store, they have their own profile in the background where they can add or also subtract portions. We really want this to be about food waste. So no one should produce on on top because of us.
Yeah.
It's also not worth financially. This is really our last, let's say, argument.
Yeah.
It's about the food waste. Of course, people also get in new clients. That's also cool. Why not? But it's really about the food waste. So they can also subtract and add portions because, of course, this is the thing about food waste in a restaurant. You don't know what and how much is left at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And that's why it works so well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You mentioned briefly the impact of Too Good To Go Switzerland. Can you tell me more about like yearly impact that you have? Maybe a few numbers that you have in the back of your mind.
This was global, by the way. So.
No, definitely. That's why I would maybe you know more about Too Good To Go Switzerland. I'm not sure about.
Are you interested?
Both.
Okay. I mean, maybe globally, just to give you a wider perspective, when I started now 3.5 years ago, we were in 8 countries, 160 people. Today, 3.5 years later, we are 1,200 people and in 17 countries. In the year of COVID, in 2020, we actually expanded into the US and last year into Canada. So these are really big steps for us to really widen our impact. Why? Because of course, Europe is also big, but then if you go abroad and also spread your mission there, it's a whole new level, right?
Absolutely.
And our plan is to go further. When you look at really the concrete impact, and this is the beautiful thing about our job, because if you put a partner that works with us on the app, you can on the next day see how many meals that store saved. So it's a very much motivating factor because you see the direct impact. We have, as I mentioned, saved on a global scale around 110 million meals, and we just celebrated our 50 million registered users.
Wow.
It's registered, so not everyone is active.
Okay.
It's what your colleague said before. Maybe some people forget about it, but it's still people that receive our messages, that receive our educational material, and that get this awareness going. And then, of course, it's also up to us to see it and encourage them to save the food. In Switzerland, we exist now since 3.5 years. We'll be celebrating 4 years in June. We will be celebrating almost 5 million meals. Now we're at 4.5. So honestly, yes, makes me very, very proud having been the second employee here when it started. You can really see the direct impact. We are also working together with 5,000 individual stores. So whether it's bigger retailers or small bakeries from the corner, anyone can participate, and I guess that's what makes it so attractive and simple.
Yeah, absolutely. So just so I understand well, to measure the impact, you rely on the data that the app generates, right? So you are connected with all the shops, all your customers and all that, and you take all the data from the app, and that gives you your
exactly.
impact.
So we have our app that is of course self built internally, and we also have the background system for the stores where they can use. It's called My Store. They can use their own profile, and so this is all integrated and connected. And every day, every week, every month, we have statistics on how much it is that we save, how many meals are we supplying, how many users are coming, who's having favorites, how are people interacting with the app. We obviously have direct feedback from the consumers on what works, what could be improved. We have a tech team of now 70 people, and this is growing. As you know, I mean, it is a tech solution, and we want to get better there. So that really listens to our feedback from the countries there in Denmark, and then puts it all together and sees where can we improve to make our users and partners even happier.
That's wonderful. Final question: can you describe Too Good To Go in 3 words? What would you say? It's a tough one. Take your time. But yeah.
There's so many words. But yes, let me choose. For sure, purpose, impact, and people.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Do you have any last comments, thoughts on your mind that you want to share with the audience, maybe?
For you guys, use the app wherever you travel to.
Yes, that's a good one.
Wherever Too Good To Go is present, and tell me your honest user feedbacks. I'm always interested. You know, as much as I started. When you start and you're 2 people, you do a bit of everything. You have no business, you have no partners. You need to build that first, right? Especially when you're an entrepreneur, you're not starting, you're a manager, and it doesn't matter. You're building a business.
Absolutely.
And of course, as it grows, you take on responsibility. But if I could give, you didn't ask me that, but now I'm thinking about it. If I could actually, if other entrepreneurs are watching that, or if I could give an advice, never lose the touch to the base of the business, right? So customer feedback, talking to partners, talking to users, if it's a marketplace, whatever it is, who your clients clients are, be close to them and make sure you never lose track in this whole management and whatever, but really be close to the people that do the actual job also in your team. I think that's super important.
Thank you so much for your time. That was very insightful.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks.